and Keel Fish Shack.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. I am drawing out my sentences so that I could get us linked up on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group. We welcome everybody to another edition. You see, today we only got two of us in the box screens here. I'm Mike Mayo. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. And we've got no Defo because Defo is hobbled off to the podiatrist or orthopedist or whatever his friend Dr. Jerry is to check up on that toe. I hope there's no amputations required. I hope he's back walking around and then doing walks of life and playing tennis soon enough. But he's just got to rest. He's got to understand that his age takes a little longer to heal. I want to remind him that he's a septuagenarian and, you know, hey, we're not kids anymore. Lubie's a kid. He's only 40. I'm in my 50s, although my ex-wife says I act like a 80-year-old, and I do have an old soul. But in any event, now we've got a jam-packed agenda today, and I'm really happy. Even though there's no Defo, we got two chefs coming on the show today. And I think we have one of them lined up, an old friend of the show. And it's funny because, you know, now's the time of the year where we reassess and a lot of people make lists of, you know, what are their favorite bites and best dishes and best meals. And I got to say, in terms of Lunchbox and overall, when I think back on 2022, this has been a year for me of just like comfort food. I no longer have an expense account. I see my fortunes at both the horses and poker tables rapidly dwindling, and I've got to eat wisely and prudently. And although I did have some fun below the bank meals, I think one of the best meals we had was with Tom T. Up at his Nobo Brewing Company location in Boynton Beach. And man, I don't know what the best bite of the day was. He makes such good, you know, that the gumbo yaya is always great. But I think those oysters,
oysters, yeah, I'm partial to oysters.
Those grilled oysters, where he took them out of the shell, he like shucked them and then served them in these little tin foil things that made it very convenient. No shell, no grit, and just pure oyster and juice goodness. That was good. Welcome back to the Lunchbox, Tom T. How are you today, my friend?
I'm very fine. How you guys doing?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. How is it going? It seems like you, like us, you're really not taking much time off. You're cracking out the days up at Nobo Brewing. How's it been going up there with the whole holiday season?
Going well. We had a really, you're always having a good time. You know that. I mean, I don't look at it as work. I look at it as fun, and I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy playing with food and experimenting. So it's all really cool. We did 7 fishes last Saturday.
Nice.
So that was really nice. I had a pretty good turnout for that, and so that was really cool. And I haven't done it for a while, so it was fun to do it again.
Let's compare fishes, Tom, because, you know, I had the private 7 fish feast with Biwi, best ex-wife ever, Michelle. And let me hear how your course lineup went. How many dishes was it? Did you do a lot of combo where you can kind of pack in 3 different seafood in one item? Michelle did that for the one main course, but let me hear your lineup so I could salivate.
So this is my lineup. I'm actually, I had some calamari left, so I'm actually running this calamari today. I do a Sicilian braised calamari, so it's a dish that the sums are more than the parts. It has this insane flavor. You know me, I'm a little crazy, but so it's onions, garlic, and fennel, and I saute that down like for about an hour. I just really make it like a nice sofrito. Then I take the calamari that's cut, I sear it in a pan with olive oil, I add white wine, reduce it, red wine, reduce it, I put in the sofrito, and I'm a big fan of the Stanislaus tomatoes. Their tomatoes are just outstanding. And I put the filetto de pomodoro in there. I season it with my seasoning blend. This I get a little bit of a kick. I'm not going to say it's hot, but and it's served with bread, and it's just I cook it for about 3 or 4 hours, and it's tender, and it just has all these flavors amalgamate. It's really nice.
And for those who don't know, calamari is it squid? It's
Squid.
it's it's
It's squid,
squid.
yeah.
But, okay, I mean most people know that, but a lot of people don't know what squingili is. I don't know if you ever served squingili, but that used to be on the plates of a lot of traditional Italian American
Well, I've
homes.
served it.
Yeah,
I've served it. It's not. It's kind of faded. It's not a dish that's like tripe. You just don't see it on menus like you used to. And usually it's canned, which is an okay product for making tomato sauce with. Because obviously the fresh would be the conch that the ubiquitous conch that we find here all the time, which you can use. It's the canning.
but it's like
process.
cuttlefish. Is squingili like cuttlefish or conch or either one, or
So
it's just
Squingili's conch.
Yeah. Okay.
Squingili is conch. Just
Interesting.
like our conch, but usually they're smaller conchs, but it's the same product. But usually they take it and they can it. So, the canning process does make it more tender and easier to use to make a sauce. And, you just make sure you save all the juice. My second course, I did a poached jumbo wild-cut Texas shrimp. I called my connection in Louisiana. I got some nice giant shrimp, and I did them with a lemon caper sauce. So that was my first course, those two. Then we did oysters Rockefeller and clams.
Of course.
Oh, Jesus.
And you have those on the menu a lot now, right? Or the grilled oysters or the oysters Rockefeller. Is that going to be on New Year's Eve?
Oh, those are so good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can count on that. I dropped the salad down. I make this really nice lemon oregano dressing, and I've been doing it for years. And it's a steady Freddy, and it goes really well. It's got lemon in it, so it follows the genre.
Yeah.
And then you're right. At the finish, I did the same thing. I did 3 items in one dish for the pasta: mussels, fresh crab meat, and grilled swordfish.
Nice.
Zucchini with kind of
pasta.
a Fried Diablo, but no, I didn't. Again, me, if people don't do things spicy. I mean, I honestly love spicy food,
Cajun.
but I think there's no need to make stuff spicy all the time.
Right. You got to cater to your guests' palates, and it's the same thing as salt. Like people could always add salt, and same thing with spice. People could always add additional spice, even if it's not seeped into the dish. But
Yeah,
it's a
salt's
wise
a little
move.
tricky because if you don't have enough salt, then you won't get the flavor profile. Like salt definitely enhances the flavor profile. You can get into the MSG discussion, which has been debunked a million times, but people still insist that they get a reaction to it. And actually, it's physiologically impossible because your body has MSG in it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to live if you were allergic to it. But I don't want to go on that train. But so yeah, you do need to add a little bit of salt to get the flavor at least up a little bit, But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's no need to add a ton of salt to much of anything.
Hey, so enough of the past. What about the future? What's going on? Are you open this weekend? Are you doing a New Year's Eve like dinner? Or what's happening up there in your neck of the woods?
So New Year's Eve, I'm doing all day. We open at 12. We'll be doing 12 to 8. I'm going to do endless pork and sauerkraut, so you can get all you can eat with homemade mashed potato, of course, homemade.
Wait, that's New Year's Eve? I thought that's a New Year's Day tradition for the Germans out
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing anything New Year's Eve now.
Except drinking alone, or like me.
Yeah, I don't walk out my door on New Year's Eve.
I hide under the covers, bulletproof vests, all that.
Yeah.
He's a New Orleans veteran, remember? Hey, I wanted to ask you, because you spent a lot of New Year's Eves in New Orleans. I have some very fond memories of being there for New Year's Eve, and including the turn of the century when it was 2000. I was out there for a Sugar Bowl. And I remember just having an utterly great dinner at Brightson's restaurant, Frank Brightson, great chef in New Orleans, with Michelle. And then we just headed back to the hotel, and we just were like ensconced in the room. I didn't want to have any flying bullets or falling bullets or things like
Jesus.
that.
People do that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, remember Hurricane the Ibis, the mascot, got hit with one of those stray bullets
Oh,
one year in New
jeez.
Orleans. Yeah, that was bad.
Really?
But yeah, it was a goofy story, and that's why I was always kind of freaked out anytime, because people, and even here in South Florida it happens. But enough of that. I mean, what you just kind of chill out at home and cook for yourself, which is what I do for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I'll probably do something nice, just as a little celebration. I'm sure it will include seafood. I'm actually wet aging some. I bought a strip loin, a whole loin, and so wet aging in the fridge for been in there about 30 days now. So I'm sure I'll break that down.
I like wet aging. I think that's the way to go. People, the dry age brings out the funk, and you get some breakdown, and you get some of the people who like the blue cheese. It's compared to like blue cheese, and you get these kind of more different depth of flavors and sometimes smells and a little bit of funk. But I like the wet aging too. So can you explain what are the benefits of
I'm
that?
gonna say, what does that mean? What are we talking about? I'm actually
Well, essentially, it does the same thing. The enzymes break down the meat and make it more tender. So it's in a way, it's the same process from the aging standpoint. The dry age, obviously, it's dry. So they put the meat in a room with a certain temperature, humidity. It extracts moisture from the beef. So you're right. What happens is you get what they call a pectoral on the outside, and that's the stuff you can cut off, and it's all brown and nasty looking. And then when you cut the steak and cut your steaks out, the material will be less moist. That's why you always want to use prime when you dry age, because the fat will stay, but you'll lose moisture from the muscle. And I don't want to say it's an acquired taste, but it's certainly a different taste. I like it. I mean, I like dry age, but so the wet age, one of the nice things about wet age is as long as your Cryovac intact, it stays sealed. So yes, when you open it up, it's obviously, as soon as the meat's exposed to oxygen, it's gonna have a little bit of a smell. But it goes away within a minute or two. It's just the process of it finally going, yo, I got air.
Yeah.
And then, you dry it off and you'll see a color. Like you can leave it on a cutting board and it'll change color within a half hour of, as the oxygen interacts with the meat. And then you cut your steaks, and so they're more tender. You can do the same thing in some ways. You don't want to grill a wet steak anyhow, so you pat it with a paper towel. And, you season it with whatever you like to use and grill it. There's pan sear it to your temp. So the process is the same. I think the dry age is people, it's that whole thing like tomahawk steaks. I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody at the bar room, and, you get these tomahawks, and everybody's like, ooh, tomahawk. I'm like, you're paying more money for
the bone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's even better.
It's one of these show-off things. It's like getting a colossal stone crab. You're paying for mostly shell. I did an experiment one year. The best value is you buy mediums. Yeah, you got to do more work, but pound for pound, and you get more yield out of a pound of mediums than out of just the amount you have to pay per pound for a colossal. So it's the same thing with the tomahawk steaks. Yeah, so it's you're putting on a show, you're impressing people, you have that big bone, and now people are putting, flaming it and putting it on hooks and swinging it around like Tarzan. It's, that's what the restaurant game is become, is kind of a show, an Instagram show. And I know that you and me, we're more kind of, I guess,
food.
what are you going to call it? Old school people. We just care about the food. I don't care if you put it on a paper plate or in a tinfoil cup. Just give me the good damn food, please.
I'm telling you right now, I ate at Prime 112, and within a couple months ago, and I didn't dream about the food the way I dream about Tom T's food. I'll tell you that right now. And we were in a bar hanging out in an afternoon, and it was this ritzy place. They do all this crap. The food itself was okay. Tom T put it together for us, and that was spectacular. So you can do your shows, your Instagrammable moments, but come on. Like, it should be, to me, it's about.
Well, I don't knock any business. Look, if that's their shtick and it works good for them, man. Really, I don't knock it. If they're successful, go for it.
Yeah.
And if people want to spend that money, look, I'm happy for them. You get all these discussions on Let's Eat about pricing and this and that, and I work very hard to give a great value to my guests, you know.
Yeah.
But look, these guys, if you can make that kind of money, take it. I mean, you know, I don't like rap music, but I'm happy those guys are paying taxes. They're doing their thing. So, I mean, that's, you know, I feel that same way about restaurants, man. I'm happy for everybody.
Capitalism. It's capitalism, baby. If there's a market for it, if people are willing to pay $6.25 for a dozen eggs that they could get down the block for $2.92, that's capitalism, baby. So, you know, that's
some people don't care.
Yeah.
I do.
They go and have to be seen at wherever place they want to be seen. Yeah. It's like some discussion the other day. Some guy was talking about, I forgot what it was, and I'm like, you know, my response was, look, you can appetizers, yeah, you can find inexpensive food, but it's not going to be on the water in Fort Lauderdale,
right?
Oh,
you know, it's
going to be on 441, and it's going to be in a lower rent district, and it's going to be, you know, served in more humble surroundings.
Just as good, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, I had a question totally off topic. I just thought of you today because I opened a new bottle of hot sauce for my eggs, Cholula, and then I went to stick it in the fridge where I also have a bunch of my other hot sauces. Do you refrigerate your open bottles of hot sauces? And am I being stupid by doing so?
It depends on how much vinegar is in them. Most of them, yeah, you don't need to refrigerate them. I mean, unless you're getting that super mega hot stuff, because in all honesty, you know, you're probably not going to use that much of that. You don't want it sitting out for years and years. But I mean, I go to a great deal of Louisiana hot sauce at my house and whatnot. But no, you don't have to refrigerate. Usually they're full of vinegars. And, you know, when in doubt, read the bottle. Although they all tell you to refrigerate it because they don't want to be in trouble.
Hey, you know who's full of vinegar? It's Jeff Defo DeForest. He's full of piss and vinegar, but now, me and him were going at it yesterday. And people were watching it. I guess they like that.
I don't understand.
I still don't know. We were both in agreement, and yet we were still arguing with each other, which is something that somehow only Defo and I managed to do. Tom, what are your hours this week? I never did get a straight answer. Are you open? Which days coming up for the next week?
I'm open today, 3 to 8.
Nice.
Friday and Saturday we're doing lunch, 12 to 4, 12 to 5, something like that. And then Sunday all day. And of course Sunday's New Year's Day, so I'm doing a whole full menu for that because I'm crazy.
That's the traditional. You do the pork and sauerkraut. Do you do any of like the collard greens or black-eyed peas, some of the southern things that have become traditions?
I'm making smothered cabbage that I'll be serving with cornbread. I'm gonna make some collards or maybe turnips if I can get turnip greens. You know, I'm doing my spinach dip. I'm making oyster stew, which is a tradition in a lot of places for New Year's Day. I'll be doing the grilled oysters. I'm making red beans and rice. That's my bean. So I'll have a bean. I'm making gumbo. Swamp stew is another one.
Oh, I love the swamp stew. When's the pork Louis Prima making a comeback? Because I love that pork Louis Prima. I just love the name, and I love the dish.
Funny you mentioned that because that popped up. You know, I kind of look at my menus when I haven't run for a while. I've been getting a lot of requests for the barbecue shrimp.
That's good too.
I might be seeing some barbecue shrimp back on. But the Louis Prima, I'll probably put it on next week. You know, the beginning of the year. Nice. That's a nice dish, isn't it? I love that one.
So we have
I love it. Oh, go ahead.
We have a request from our chat line. One of our loyal followers and friends. Is there a delivery of any kind? Can someone find their way to the JFK hospital?
Andy is battling COVID.
Generous. He's very generous. He's eating hospital food on New Year's week, and he's trying to refresh his palate. How does he get some gumbo sent to the JFK hospital about 15 minutes from you? He'd like to ask.
I know exactly where it is. Yeah, Andy's a friend of mine. We talk. He comes in, you know, fair amount of time. He's a great guy. I know he was locked in there. And yeah, I'll make sure he gets some gumbo.
Nice.
That's sweet of you. Yeah, no, we wish Andy a speedy recovery, and also my man Dickstein is on. Yes, I'm working on the reviews and the capsules, and Dickstein was raving Michelin quality. He said about Tom T's lasagnas. The meat lasagna especially is my favorite. So That's
Well, he got the mushroom too. Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't done that for a while, but I made that with a duck shell. It came out really nice.
Oh wow, that was a
A
mushroom.
lot of
That
work.
was oh wow, yeah. That's for the
Yeah, that
vegans and vegetarians, but not for the weight conscious because that also is some high calorie stuff.
no,
But
no,
so good.
it's not vegan. It is vegetarian, but there's
Oh,
no
okay.
heavy
Sorry.
grain
Yeah,
cheese. There
that's
you
right.
go.
You got
I'm like, come on,
the
I
dairy.
can't do
I'm a
that.
I'm a little out of it today. I am so sorry.
vegetarian, not a
What's
vegan.
up for 23? Any changes afoot? I know that you were talking, but for now you're just still at Nobo, right? You're just going to be doing what you do, and I hope you make it down to
I'll
Lauderdale
be
occasionally.
doing.
We need to get out to your Lauderdale if you ever make it back.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some more Lauderdale runs. I actually am then reaching out to them. They moved the truck right off Davy Road to just one exit down.
Nice.
And I'm going to try to organize that. Of course, crawfish bowl season's going to be coming up in a month or two. Probably end of February, depending on how the season looks. I've already been in contact with them. I got some in because I did the Boca Bowl. You know, I did
Yeah.
the VIP.
Oh yeah, I saw you out
Nice.
there.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh yeah, that was crazy, but it was fun. But so they're just not ready yet. Honestly, it's just not time. But so the crawfish season will be in. I might be doing a little rebranding. They changed the name to TLK Kitchen to give us a little opportunity to expand our
Nice. So not just being New Orleans, Louisiana, Creole. You're gonna, you embrace all the Italian stuff, and yeah, you want to play around. You're a
Jeez.
chef. That's great. So
exactly. And again, I'm doing this. It's so much of it is for me. It's for making the customers happy. I mean, I get thrilled when people come in and they're happy. Like a guy messaged me, he's like, he just called me out of the blue the day after the Boca Bowl. I never met the guy. I mean, obviously I met him there. And he's like, I just want you to know your food was just amazing at the Boca Bowl. Like, that's nice, to hear like somebody say stuff like that. That's really cool, So
well,
I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at.
cool. It's all good. I know you get a lot of, you call it food with love, and it's also for us food with pleasure. We eat it with pleasure. We gain pleasure by eating
Well,
it.
that's the idea.
It's, and
Why
yeah,
we do this? I'm retired. I do it for fun and to make people happy. And hey, look what you get to eat. Like, I love it. I absolutely
all
love
good.
it. I had that conversation the other day.
Hey
It's not
Tom,
work,
Tom T, we love you. Happy New
we
Year.
gotta run. Happy, healthy New Year. I hope to see you soon.
Let's see
Maybe
you
I'll see
soon.
you later this week. Maybe I'll do a little driving around and a
Cool, man.
little old lang syne. But appreciate all you do, and yeah, looking forward to another great year of culinary adventures at TLK.
Yeah, you'll see some neat
Yeah,
stuff.
all good. All right,
Thanks,
brother.
guys, man. You have
Talk
a
to you
great
later.
Thanks,
Yep.
Tom.
All right. Before we go to break, I just got to say a word about our friends with the Greater Fort Lauderdale, Nikki Mohan and crew. Obviously, it's been a big year in 2022, and 2023 is going to be even bigger. They're branding the title sponsorship of the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, and we're going to be talking in a couple of minutes with Chef Paula DaSilva, who is at the Ritz Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach, also oversees the Burlock Coast restaurant there, and she's taking part in the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. But that's all part of Greater Fort Lauderdale. Welcomes everyone under the sun, and that means all you foodies out there, the culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados. Come one, come all. This season and every season, get ready to savor all the great flavors, all the great cuisines, all the diversity, and every moment. Everything under the sun, everyone under the sun, dockside dining with breathtaking views, lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable. A world-class culinary scene is waiting for you here. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Tell all your friends to come on down. It's the warm place to be. Discover taste sensations at more than 4,000 area restaurants. And you can explore the thrilling nightlife scene. And like I mentioned, all those great breweries like Funky Buddha, which is also having a special beer dinner as part of the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. They're also on the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail. So many good places, hidden speakeasies, rooftop bars, expert mixologists serving up amazing cocktails. And we're going to be getting a taste of that at the food festivals, the cocktail competition that Wednesday night, the 11th. So it's a never-ending culinary celebration here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for more information about all the upcoming events, restaurants, latest promotions and deals, go to visitlauderdale.com.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Coming up next, world-renowned chef Paula DaSilva, who is the culinary director right now for the Ritz Carlton and will be a part of the Visit Lauderdale Wine and Food Festival, joins us right here, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on South Florida Live. More after this.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, Even Keel Fish Shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back here on the Lunchbox, a Defo-less Lunchbox. No, I did not put him in timeout after our antics yesterday. He had a doctor's appointment. He is getting his big toe checked out. The one that's how do you break a toe in 2 spots? I thought you just have like one bone, but I guess he really did a number on him on the rocks there in the Bahamas at Atlantis. So there you go. We're waiting any moment to talk to one of my favorite chefs in the greater Fort Lauderdale area, Paula DaSilva. She's really cool. She's been at the Ritz Carlton in Fort Lauderdale. I've lost all track of time, Lubie, not only this year, but many years. I guess she might have been there now for like going on 5 or 6 years, which is incredible. She had been at many other places around in Miami, and she also was on some of those TV reality shows. But meanwhile, I guess we're just going to talk a little bit about, this is the time for wrapping up the year. And, I was just thinking back on, some of my more memorable meals and, some of my favorite meals and some of my best meals. They're not always the same thing. 'Cause I think the most memorable meal there, Lubie, was being able to drag, maybe kicking and screaming, Defo to
Oh, Scott,
Skyline Chili to
Skyline's
have
up.
him settle the bet. And, apparently, had he had Skyline before and just
Yeah, of
hated it so
course.
much,
He's
and
had
he
it.
just
He had it years ago, and he didn't remember it being really good.
right.
And
And
then you
we went back.
you
That
won.
face he made was kind of like my face that I make quite often. But he was kind of pensive about it. I remember
He
he
was.
didn't want to do the chili on the spaghetti. He got the coney dogs with the chili and the
That's what
cheese
I
on it. He did a big bite of it, and he just was like he put on like my critic's face. He was like
got.
contemplating. Um, I don't think the thoughts were good that were going on in the head, the thought bubble, but he grinned and bared it, and that
He
was fun.
admitted that they weren't as bad as he had been making fun of it.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
better than
look.
that, worse than the way you describe it.
It's
And
so
what
funny because my daughter, I thought she hated the stuff because every time I suggested going there, she'd say no. But now all of a sudden, she seems to have a thing for it and she wants to go. And now there's obviously the one remaining location
well, if you
in
guys
South
ever
Florida.
go, let me know. I don't know
Yes,
from my
it's close to
parents.
you. Yeah, it's on University Drive there
You
in
do a good job.
Sunrise.
They're quick. It's like
Oh
going,
no, no,
you can
yeah, yeah.
actually do it quicker than going to fast food. They actually are too quick sometimes. Like I'm
No,
like,
the
the hell?
owner there, he does a really good job, Tony. And then the one that was here for a long time, almost 50 years in Fort Lauderdale, that closed down. It was supposed to be turned into a oil change service center, and they still haven't even done the demo on the building yet. It's just kind of sitting there. So I don't know if it's hung up in Fort Lauderdale permitting hell or what's going on with it, but that's we say old lang syne to restaurants that have gone and checked out, and some of the other ones this year, we're sad to see the original shenanigans on the west side go, and that they had lost their lease. I don't know if there's any other restaurants that I could think of offhand that closed this year that were longtime favorites. Oh, Kitchenetta was an Italian joint on Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale that was there a long time, and at the beginning was really solid. Did some really nice family style servings, especially their linguine with white clam sauce was great. So
Well, and Anthony's is not closed, but I know that they've been under construction for renovations, and they were supposed to be opening up around now. And I know from what you and Deep were talking about, they're not open yet, but I know that they are coming back with a vengeance shortly. From what you were
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, no, they are going to be coming back with a vengeance. I know some people that have applied or getting hired for jobs there, so it's going to
Nice.
be a good veteran crew. Anthony Bruno and his new partner Mark Falsetto with the Handcrafted Hospitality Group. They also own and operate a bunch of those taco craft restaurants,
Nice.
so that's going to be good. So I'm thinking about some of the other, good meals I had. A bunch of them with Dickstein. For some reason, he's become my partner in eating crime, and we had a fantastic feast at the Casa d'Angelo in Fort Lauderdale last week. We also had the earlier this year the Evelyn's. That's how it's pronounced, Evelyn's, not Evelyn's, but at the new Four resort in Fort Lauderdale. And it's a really talented chef, Brandon Solomon, who worked and studied under Mauro Calagreco, who's one of the top chefs in the world. And Brandon worked at the Flores restaurant at the Four Seasons in Palm Beach before getting the head executive chef job, chef de cuisine, I guess, at the Evelyn's restaurant, Four Seasons, and kind of really elevated, refined, Middle Eastern and Israeli cuisine, things, like very, very rarefied, well done hummus with truffles and, all that kind of touch. So,
Nice.
all right. Hey, I see that we've got Paula DaSilva on the line, ready to chime in, and welcome to the Lunchbox show. Paula DaSilva, how are you doing, and how's the holiday season going?
Hi, good afternoon. Everything is going great. How's sorry about that. How's the holiday season going? It is
Hectic.
it's going great. It's busy as can be. And we are just looking forward to finishing out the year here and then rocking and rolling in 2023.
Now, your official title now is what? Culinary Director at the I'm sorry, the Ritz Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Yeah, I get my resorts mixed up now.
Yeah,
There's so many of them, but
all the titles. I know,
yeah,
I know. Yeah, yes, that's my title, and so I currently still continue to oversee, culinary in the kitchen and working closely with the chefs. But I have swapped my chef jacket most of the days now for a blazer and
getting all
spending a lot of
proper.
time in the front of the house too.
I'm trying to remember how long have you been now at the Fort Lauderdale Ritz? It's been like 5, 6 years, 5 years.
It's been 5. I
Wow.
am just in
Yeah.
August. I celebrated 5 years here.
Wow, time flies now.
Mhm.
So, and again, you oversee
Flies.
the main restaurant there is Burlock Coast, which I like because it's showcasing some of the great seafood and rums, and it's not all stuffy. Even though you're here at Ritz Carlton, it's really a good casual place to go for brunch, lunch, dinner. How's it going over there in Burlock?
We're doing great. We Burlock is just a place that's kind of home to a lot of locals. We're very fortunate with our location. So not only our hotel guests that we see visiting the restaurant, but of course, just a lot of tourists that are up and down the beach. So we're in a prime location to kind of welcome, everybody from all over the place, from locals to tourists, and then of course our hotel guests. But we've had a great year, and the last couple of days, of course, when it's cold and rainy outside, like every other restaurant that's on the beach and has a lot of outdoor seating, we see an impact with that. But other than that, we're having a great year.
It's all right. It's going to make up for it the next 3 months because, the winter time in February and the spring break time in March, it's usually gorgeous here, and usually everybody else around the country wants to be here and will be here. So before we get into the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival and the special dinner you're preparing, I just want to see what's on tap at the Ritz this weekend for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. You got like buffets going on or other specials. What can the locals look forward to?
So we've got on New Year's Eve, we're doing a 4-course plated dinner. I think it's $129 for that, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look exactly what it is, but it's all posted on our Instagram. And still have reservations available for that. We'll have live music, DJ, all the party favors. So it's a lot of fun. It's nothing like too crazy, but it's low key, but a lot of fun for somebody who's looking for some excitement, but nothing like nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. That's good. Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. No. The bar is open, and hopefully it's a nice day out. We can open all the windows and all that, and it's like really beautiful. And then we have the brunch, Saturday and Sunday brunch. No buffets at all. So we kind of did away with buffets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the brunches at Burlock, or are there ones up in the ballrooms? Because I know sometimes hotels do that for New Year's Day. Or
No, the brunch is at Burlock Coast, and that's it. And it's a la carte. Quite an extensive offering. Bottomless, mimosas, and Bloody Marys, and all that. But
that's the important thing.
That's what. Yeah, the bottomless is still there. That didn't go away. Only the buffets. I'm happy that they went away too.
Oh, that's good. All right, so now let's get into right after the holidays. Never a dull moment. The Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival keeps growing, and I was so happy to see that you are putting together a special dinner for the event. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, so this is the second year, I think, that we're participating in the actual in the event, right, with the Greater Fort Lauderdale. But this is the first time that we're hosting a dinner here with them, and so we have a few guest chefs coming. We have Dave and Brad from Keel.
Love those guys.
Yes. Our friends are great.
I know you do. I know those guys are. Hopefully staying out of trouble, those two.
You never know with Brad.
You never know. Yeah. We have, hopefully they show up to the dinner, right? I might have to remind them.
Definitely send texts, repeated texts. Yes.
I will. They're up the street, so I can always just go pick them up and drag them here. we have Christy Tenard from Union Kitchen and Bar, a really great restaurant in the Will
Nice.
Manor.
Yeah, one of my favorite new places. It's really they do a really nice
Yeah,
job there. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do a great job. Amazing cocktails, pasta. Does a very, very good job with her fresh pastas. Um, and then we have my better half, Carissa, who's the pastry chef at Harbor Beach Marriott, and doing the pastries for 3030 Ocean, our old stomping ground. So she'll be finishing out the pastries, and then myself and my chefs will be doing one of the courses as well. So all paired with cocktails and wine. So we're working on finalizing that. Um, and it's just going to be a great time. Again, not a huge dinner, not a lot of people. We're just looking for about 40, 45 seats so that it stays nice and quaint.
Perfect. Yeah.
Guests are able to really interact with the chefs and and just have a really good time. I think this event is really neat to Fort Lauderdale. We need something like this to sort of, not to necessarily put us on the map, but just to bring the community together and bring chefs together.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is it's Broward's own event as opposed to being under the
Yep.
shadow of somebody else's and other branding and other names. And I know that's a big priority for the folks at Visit Lauderdale, and that's why they've come on board as title sponsors. And Visit Lauderdale, the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau, they do want to showcase all the great talent that we have here, like Paula and friends. And again, it's an intimate dinner, and I love the whole concept of you have some of the big ticketed events and the great grand tasting in a fabulous location there right at the beachfront park on that Saturday, the 15th. There'll be, I guess, several thousand people there, but it's nice to just get together with some really talented chefs, some really great food and good wine. And that's going to be January 12th. That's a Thursday night, 7 p.m. at the Burlock Coast there at the Ritz Carlton, Fort Lauderdale. Paula and friends. It's 5 courses with wine pairings for $165 per person. And I consider that a reasonable amount since you're getting such great quality food and beverage and hospitality and talent. And a portion of the proceeds are going to the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. So it's all for a good cause as well. Paula, are you still there? Do you have any big resolutions for the new year? Yeah. Anything on tap for 2023 in terms of new projects at the Ritz or just in terms of what do you see on the horizon, food wise, any trends or personally any resolutions? I know I always have mine and I always fail by about January 12th, about the time the food
Yeah.
festival goes on.
Does it include working out?
I did some walking and it does. It includes working.
Yeah, it's the workout, right? The diet.
Yeah.
Probably about week number 2, it's down the drain. Yeah, I think for us is really just always continue to elevate the, particularly the restaurant, Burlock Host, of course, all of our other dining outlets as well. The pool, which we don't really talk about too much, but we have a beautiful pool deck that the bar and restaurant is open to guests. On certain days, there are times where we close it off only to hotel guests. Peak times, holiday times. However, if somebody wants to come grab a drink or a sandwich on the pool deck and have a really beautiful view, that's something that probably a lot of people don't know about. They should probably just check and make sure that we're open to the public on that day. And nice little menu up there that we just rolled out this week. We just reopened the pool kitchen up there, kind of a little bit of a Mediterranean kind of
Like dips and mezes and things like that, or what's on that?
Not more like Italian, more like Southern Italy,
Okay.
Spain, kind of Mediterranean. Yeah, not
Nice.
so much the
Caprese salads and things like that, or what?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, what you want to eat on the
Light.
pool deck, right? People want the caprese, they want
Yeah.
things like that. Um,
And
so so that's a little project that we're
what's
on.
going on at Burlock Coast now? Who's the executive chef there now? It's is it still? I'm losing track
Well,
of things.
It's still me.
Nice.
Okay.
It's still me, kind of overlooking both roles. But my chef de cuisine at Burlock Coast is Ryan Fish. Really fine young gentleman that's been with me here for a long time. He's at the helm of Burlock Coast, along with his sous chefs. He's got 3 sous chefs: Daniel Miller, Iman, and then Evan Broomer, who's been with me for a long time. So I have an amazing, very strong culinary team here at the hotel that do a fabulous job.
Excellent. What's the big seller? What's the big seller on the menu there now? Do you have any new items or things that are just like the fish?
Our seafood is just really one of the best. We started working with Kelly Seafood up in Central Florida, New Smyrna Beach area, and he's bringing down to me like some of the freshest fish that I've really ever worked with. So seafood is always very strong here. But one of the ones that are kind of like the most unassuming is like the braised short rib and chicken. People, if you want a good braised short rib and chicken, we have an amazing one too. And then of course like our salads, our burrata salad right now is just like super delicious with the roasted mushrooms. My octopus is one of my favorites.
Nice.
Ceviche, the tuna poke is a classic that we never, change or get rid of. People love that one. So
Yep.
menu is constantly evolving. A lot of fun stuff to choose from.
All right, excellent. Now I'm glad to hear about getting a good local Florida fish purveyor because nothing makes me angrier than some of these big chains, luxury chains come in, and then you look on their seafood menu and they got absolutely nothing from local waters. And I'm glad to see and hear that you do it right there at Burlock Coast because Paula DaSilva is a local and she knows what's what. So Paula, again, looking forward to the whole event, the Visit Lauderdale Wine and Food Festival. It's going to be a whole week-long activity, dinners and such, January 9th through the 15th. Go to vlfoodwine.com to get your tickets. And for the big events, if you use the promo code Lunchbox, you'll get an extra 15% off the already low ticket prices for the grand tasting, the Smithfield barbecue battle on the Friday night, the cocktail competition on Wednesday, January 11th. But you also want to sign up for the intimate dinners. January 12th, Thursday night, is Paula and Friends at Burlock Coast. It's going to be a fantastic time. I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what Brad and Dave come up with for their opening course, and I'm sure they're going to make it. They we'll remind them. They'll be there. But all good. And you don't have to worry about what are you talking about diets and exercise. I've seen your Instagram and Carissa, the two of you don't need any of those things. I need those things, but you guys are just terrific, always looking good, in shape. And I don't know how you do it around all that good food. And Carissa is such a talented pastry chef. I'm so glad that she landed there at the Marriott Harbor Beach at 3030. She's doing well?
Yes, she's doing well. She's doing great. It's one of those things. Everybody's got to go through the Harbor Beach Marriott and 3030 Ocean at some point to get their stars and stripes, right? I think. And then now it's her turn. So
that's excellent. All right, good. All right, hey, well, thanks for stopping by today. Really appreciate it, Paula DaSilva. I urge everybody, even if you can't make it to the special dinner for the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival on Thursday, January 12th, stop into the Ritz Carlton, Fort Lauderdale Beach anytime. The Burlock Coast, outdoors there on a beautiful day. There is no finer place to get a brunch, lunch, or dinner than overlooking those blue waters coming in from the Atlantic, and just knowing that everybody else in the country is just so jealous. But that's the great spot.
That's true.
Paula, thanks so much. We'll hope to see you soon. Okay, be good. Happy and healthy New Year to everybody there at Burlock Coast. And Lubie, I guess it's time for break number 2. But first, I got to talk about we already talked about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, but one more time, vlfoodwine.com to get your tickets for all those big events. Use the promo code Lunchbox. All these great events that will be partially benefiting the great folks at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital in Hollywood. Great event. The other thing we got to talk about is our friends over at Tropical Acres Steakhouse. I've lost track of the days. It's Wednesday, but any night is a good night. There's no more half-price wine night, but when you see the regular price of the wine on their wine list, it's like half price compared to every other steakhouse in town. So even on a Wednesday, it's a great time to go into Tropical Acres Steakhouse. Don't forget the butcher shop with New Year's coming up, and some people like Tom T and me, we don't want to go out to a restaurant. We want to maybe stay home and cook for ourselves and our loved ones. And You get the butcher shop there at Tropical Acres. You pick up all the fine cuts of steaks and meats and other things, some seafood. They usually have stone crabs that they could sell. Also, the butcher shop is open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And of course, you got the regular dining room. The bar opens for happy hour at 4:30 to 6:30. You get those half price premium drinks along with some great light bites at the bar. It's a great deal. You can't beat the value. Regular dining room also opens at 4:30 with the early bird for the first hour, and then it's on to the regular menu, and that's a great deal too because it includes salad and side dishes. It's not all a la carte because at Tropical Acres Steakhouse, they've been around since 1949. They know that it's not just about the quality and the service. You also want value, and they give great value. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I 95 and the airport in Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach. And the Studiali family is there waiting to take care of you this week and every week. And this week, it's the normal hours. It's going to be open for New Year's Eve on Saturday night. They will be closed on New Year's Day on Sunday. Tropicalacres.com for all the latest. They have entertainment occasionally. They have the piano player most nights in the dining room. It's a special place for any occasion. Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
And tell them that we're coming back right after this. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. No Defo, but you have Mayo. You have me. And a big thank you to Tom T. And head chef. She is also the culinary director at the Ritz Carlton. Yeah. Paula DaSilva. Thank you to her. And thank you to you for sticking with us. And we'll wrap up today's show next, right here on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on South Florida Live.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. It's serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Back on the Lunchbox. Boy, the hour breezed by, and there was no high blood pressure, no yelling, no arguing with Defo. Not saying he should go to the doctor every day, but I wouldn't mind if he has to do the occasional checkup. It's all right. Now we miss you, Defo. He makes the show. He's the glue that I don't know what it is. He's the glue that makes me angry.
He makes us laugh and makes you angry. So we did have a question about the sauce challenge. It was supposed to be a year-ender thing. I know
right.
On that, it will happen.
Yes. Sarni, my Svengali, was after me yesterday. What happened to the sauce? Okay, I know. I've got all these jarred sauces sitting in my cupboard. They're good. They're good for a while. The expiration date isn't until at least like 2024. Was hoping to get to it this week. It's just with the weather being bad and everything. I didn't want to have to set up shop in case it was rainy or cold. We're hoping we are going to do it outside at the pizza spot, and I already told Wade, and he said he'll be happy to make a bunch of cheesy garlic bread for us to dunk the sauce. Again, it's going to be like 20 to 25 different jarred marinara sauce to declare which jarred sauce is the best when you're in a pinch and you just need to open something up and dump it in a saucepan. In my mind, I already know I use Rayo's, and I tried Carbone for the first time, and it was excellent. I think Carbone vaulted above Rayo's because it has a little
Nice.
bit more depth of flavor, a little bit kind of felt like it was simmering on Nona's stove for like 8 hours as opposed to Rayo's feels like it's more vibrant and maybe it just was sitting there for 2 hours. And so if you like that deep, richer kind of flavor in a marinara sauce, I would definitely go with the Carbone. So those are my top two, but we're gonna do a blind taste test, and maybe I'll be shocked. Maybe I'll like Defoe's mids, the middling mids, mid-price mids. That was his choice, but he got it on special, and he said it was pretty good. So we'll see what happens. I also got to find a jar of the Cafe Martorano,
Yeah,
the
I've never
local
seen that.
entry. I've seen it. I used to see it. Steve Martorano, obviously famous
Yeah, yeah.
for Cafe Martorano's, and he was jarring his sauce, although he calls his gravy because he's from South Philly, and to them, it's gravy, not sauce. Big debate on Let's Eat South Florida all the time, but I saw it in Publix for a while, and then I think it's still there. I got to look for it, but I know
Okay.
it's sold in some specialty stores.
Okay.
So we're gonna get to that. Meanwhile, the rest of the week is going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna have
Yes, we're out of
tomorrow a remote at Wicked Cheesesteaks with
Yes.
Brian, one of my favorite people. We got
He's great.
cheesesteaks and pizzas and the lobster rolls because he's originally from Maine. It's his wife who's from the Philadelphia area. So that's going to be fun. And then Friday, of course, we'll be back at Gulfstream Park for another Gulfstream Park Friday giveaway of the Sunday brunch vouchers, two of them every week we give away in a convoluted contest that somehow people seem to understand.
Getting it. Just
So
even
they're getting
higher
it.
loss.
It's good. And I'll try not to. This week, I'm leaving the clues up to Defo so I can
Good luck.
ridicule him. If
I would have a backup. I'm just telling you now, as someone who's worked with Defo now for over 12 years, we are over 12 years.
Yeah.
I would have a backup because he
All right,
is
I'll come up with a
a
question.
procrastinator, and he'll come up with something. But this is the kind of thing that you actually need levels.
Yeah. All
That
right.
he's
So
not
I will. We'll figure it all out on that Friday morning in our production meetings that usually last all about 0 seconds.
Well, I would figure it out by what I'm saying is, and you brought it up yesterday, and that was good by you. I would make sure by tomorrow you are able to check it off every level, because if not,
I'll have plan B, but would love to see some of you come on out to
yeah,
Gulfstream. We'll
come
be
on.
set up on that front apron overlooking the racetrack itself. And this week we're going to be sampling some of the new menu items from the Smokehouse restaurant. That's,
Yeah,
I
cool.
guess, a brand new entry there. It's opened up this week with the start of the championship winter meet that officially kicked off on Monday, the 26th. And Saturday, there's like 5 stakes races. So I got to figure out which one is going to be our featured contest race of the week. We'll have all the details on Friday. Meanwhile, I'm getting ready to eat cheesesteaks tomorrow. I'm also getting ready to meet Dickstein later today. I'm going up to Del Rey, going up to that
Nice.
place, Cabana El Rey. I don't know if you remember that name. Cabana El Rey has been a
Sounds
long
familiar.
time Cuban Latin restaurant on Atlantic
Nice.
Avenue. It was subject of one of the bigger and more controversial posts on Let's Eat South Florida this year when a woman claimed to have had a medical emergency and
Oh God.
claimed that just a few bites in was stricken and was basically they were presented with the bill allegedly and they were treated I guess insensitively, she claimed. Well, my further Woodward and Bernstein investigation revealed that her and her husband were there at the restaurant for, I guess, over an hour.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
were, I guess, leisurely eating, and then she, I guess, really did
Suddenly,
have some sort of emergency, but that the check came before. I don't know. It's a whole thing, and
it came
I
before
just
and was sitting there, and she had to help. That's
Yeah.
fine, and they should help you, and you should pay your damn check.
Well, the thing was, I basically did a little, fact checking,
They've
and
done it
the
before,
rest.
hadn't they?
That I don't know. I don't know. Not there. I don't know. There was whatever. All I know is there's always two sides to every story, and I was able to give the people at Cabana El Rey a chance to give their side of the story, which was markedly different from the other person's story. So remember that when you're on Let's Eat and you hear people kvetching about something and say, "Oh, it took an hour to get something." People don't have an internal clock. I mean, when I was a critic, I used to sometimes run my,
Yes.
my stopwatch to see how long things took because I was an obsessive compulsive. But I don't think people really do that when they go out to eat. When they say
No.
something took an hour, usually it was probably about 20 minutes. So I always take those things with a grain of salt. But anyway, it's my first time I'm gonna be ever eating at Cabana El Rey, and the manager there was always very appreciative of what I wrote afterwards. So it'll be nice to check in with Mario and some of the other guys, Christian, who was, I guess, on the floor that night. So I'll get to meet them. And full disclosure, Cabana El Rey, one of the owners, partners there, is an old, longtime high school and college buddy of mine, but he's
Nice.
never down here. He's based in New York. And he's never asked me to review them when I was at the paper. He never did anything to try to use, me or my influence in any way. And it was actually only because I realized Cabana El Rey is the restaurant that he was part owner of that I ended up saying, "Yeah, I want to reach out and see if there's more to this story." And my friend Sharon put me in touch with Glenn, who's the managing partner, and it spends a lot of time at the restaurant itself. And anyway, that's how that story came about. But just remember, there are two sides to every story, and even if you're not a professional journalist, you could still try to be fair and try to ask yourself, what's really going on, and am I getting the full story? Which brings us to the latest news about the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa now apparently is confirmed that he did sustain a concussion in last Sunday's game. It would explain why he went so hideously awry in the fourth quarter, possibly. All we know is that he is out for this Sunday. He is likely also going to be out for the regular season finale against the Jets, and his status for any possible playoff games or his entire future with the Dolphins is very much uncertain. We do wish him the best of health. That is the most important thing when especially somebody's young, and if they hear the news that continued playing could bring really calamitous effects. It really makes you stop and pause and say, what do I want to do? I mean, there's the burning passion to play football, and there's the wealth and fame that comes with it, but there's no substitute for good health, as both Defo and I have learned this year. Yeah, it's a tough situation all around. We don't mean to mock them. A lot of times, fans, the players don't become real people. It's just they become, puppets in our fantasy leagues or our bets of under-overs. But, this is a real young human being. Seems like a really decent human being. And I just don't know where it leaves this whole cursed franchise because need I remind anybody? It's been almost 50 years since the perfect season, 49 seasons since a Super Bowl victory, and God knows how many since a Super Bowl appearance.
40.
Offhand, it was Marino in the 83 Super Bowl.
84.
So it's almost 39. Question. So the Dolphins haven't even had an appearance since that Super Bowl of the 84.
In the Super Bowl? No. Yep. They've been to the one AFC championship game in the early 90s.
No. What is, besides the Dolphins, who's the longest drought of appearing in a Super Bowl? I was going to say the Jets, but I think everybody else has been there at least.
The Jets are up there. Well, the Browns, the Browns were good in the 80s, but they didn't actually make a Super Bowl.
They never made the Super Bowl.
Should have, and they kept the drive.
All these teams you think of, like Denver, is so pathetic now. They've won Super Bowls. They've made Super Bowls. Atlanta have been in Super Bowls. Pittsburgh's been in Super Bowls. Seattle's been in Super Bowls. The Rams and Chargers have been in Super Bowls.
Pretty much everyone, except for, I would say, even the Titans, they did make a Super Bowl. So I would say the Jets. The Dolphins,
Jets and the Dolphins are it.
And the Browns.
Yeah, and the Browns.
The Browns.
Got to look that up. That's going to be your sports assignment for the next couple of days. I'll be listening in the morning to you and Defo on the Defo Show. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll be back tomorrow from Wicked Cheesesteaks on North Federal Highway there, right across from Holy Cross Hospital. Come on out if you want. We'll be there from 12 to 1, chowing down as usual. Until then, for Mike Lubie Lubitz and the recovering Jeff Defo DeForest, I'm Mike Mayo saying, remember to enjoy every sandwich.